Now for an in-depth look at the president's economic plan, our guest is Rebecca Sinderbrand. She is the deputy White House editor for Politico. Rebecca, thank you so much for taking a little time with us this morning. So here's the reality. The president's two speeches yesterday were the first of several speeches on the economy that he's slated to give. However, he's not announcing any new policy, not announcing any new initiatives. So I guess my first question is, what's the point?
Well, we're seeing a couple things here. Number one, the point is the timing. You talked about how he's going to be stuffing across the country over the next 2 months. We're looking ahead to the fall when the president's going to be going up against Republicans in Congress over the debt ceiling, over the budget. And taking the offensive on the economic agenda is really a way to make a big push on that ahead of that fight and kind of frame his message. And you also have a president who's frankly been trying to get his groove back. That's at least what a White House aide told one of our reporters after his big speech yesterday. Basically, he's been drifting a bit, and this is kind of an attempt to push through the noise and kind of unite all the different elements of the president's agenda. You were talking about immigration, we're talking about health care, we're talking about housing, under kind of the umbrella of a single message, and that message is the economy.
You know, the Politico, your organization, has charged that you've come up with 5 key questions that will, you believe, best gauge Obama's success as he rolls out his economic plan. I want to go through these very quickly, and they are: how hard will he go after Republicans on the debt ceiling and government funding? How bullish will he be on the economy? How will he make the case for his economic legacy? How will he offer specific new proposals? And what role in immigration and health care will they play in the speech? So as a Politico editor, these seem like, pretty good nuts and bolts on a scorecard. How would you say he's doing so far on this checklist?
Well, obviously, the tour is just getting underway, but the speech yesterday was more than an hour. It was probably a pretty good preview summary of what we're going to be hearing over the next few weeks. And we heard him go after Republicans pretty hard. He was careful to make a distinction that he's made in the past between some Republicans, particularly in the Senate, who've been willing to work with the White House lately on some issues, and Republicans in the House who've been pretty uniform in their opposition to his agenda. So obviously, as you heard from John Boehner, and you played that clip, not a message a lot of Republicans wanted to hear, but it's, again, a preview heading into the fall with these bigger fights. In terms of new policy proposals, well, that's something we didn't hear a lot of yesterday. We've been told by the White House ahead of time that we're going to hear a mix of new proposals and also previously released ideas. So far, we've heard a lot more of the latter, but of course, this is just getting underway. Wouldn't expect to hear anything groundbreaking, earth-shattering that we haven't heard before. This is really more of the packaging and the messaging than it is about unveiling something brand new, which may or may not make it through Washington.
Sure. All of that being said, was there a shining moment or a highlight from yesterday's speech, particularly the one at Knox College, that stood out to you?
I think the interesting thing yesterday was, again, as White House aide told our reporter, this is a president who's trying to get his groove back. This is a president who's trying very much to connect and also very much thinking about legacy at this point, kind of making the case for his economic record. A very careful case. You heard him speaking very cautiously about the state of the economy. On the one hand, trying to take credit for the movement that we've seen and the growth that we have seen, but not wanting to come across as out of touch with the pain a lot of people are still feeling. So it's a very interesting moment yesterday to see the president kind of make a fresh push on that front.
All right, Rebecca Sinderbrand, thank you so much for your time and perspective. We do appreciate it.
Thanks so much.